is Sarah Paku, a journalist and a mother of 2 girls. The thought of girls undergoing female genital mutilation in some regions in the north always sends shivers down my spine. Why does this practice continue, though it has been outlawed? And why are young girls compelled to undergo cutting of the clitoris? These questions led me to my assignment to explore the practice of female genital mutilation in some regions of the north. Statistics show female genital mutilation in the Upper East region is now 27%. The practice is widespread in the region, especially the border town of Puziga, which is near Ghana's eastern neighbor, Togo and Burkina Faso. With a population of around 75,000, most of the indigents are farmers and petty traders. I met 13-year-old Fee Idrisu. Fee had undergone cutting 7 days before our meeting. She tells me the reason for undergoing female genital mutilation.
During vacation.
Did you want to do it yourself or because tradition demands?
They said that they are doing it. Me too, I said I will do some.
How did you feel during the process?
It filled me some pace.
How long did it take before it healed?
7 days.
As Fee continued, she made a shocking revelation. Her grandmother was responsible for cutting off her clitoris. I met Ima, Fee's grandmother. The 70-year-old has been cutting girls in Puziga for over a decade. This year alone, she tells me she had cut over 100 girls.
Those days, the people will mobilize themselves in the community and they invite us. Then now, because of the issue of the arrest, they themselves rather hide to bring the children for us to do it.
This year alone, how many children have you circumcised?
100 thereabouts.
It takes a fowl, a bowl of maize, and a token of money to be cut by Ima.
I use blade to cut. After cutting, I'll use hot water and wash the sore. Then after that, I'll use the shea butter and then apply the sore. Use a rack, cross them to be sucking the blood, any blood coming out.
The World Health Organization describes female genital mutilation as any procedure that injures the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. This procedure often involves the removal or cutting of the labia and clitoris. This practice has been described by some women who have undergone the procedure as extremely painful, like 32-year-old Poisani, who went through the process at the age of 2. She's now married with 4 children, but has regrets.
It has affected me a lot in terms of delivering. They have never operated me, but the private part itself would tear, and then I will struggle for the baby to come out. And when it comes to love making between myself and my husband doesn't enjoy me. He complains, and that could even leads him to be following women outside.
With reports of babies being sent to neighboring countries such as Togo and Burkina Faso to undergo female genital mutilation, I followed up at the Department of Social Welfare and Community Development in Puziga. Paul Apam is the District Director of the Department of Social Welfare has been at the forefront of eradicating female genital mutilation in the district for over 19 years.
Except that you catch them red-handed, they will never agree that they are doing it. Usually want to know why they are practicing it. And they said that that is the only way they can tame the girl, not to go for men till the right time.
The Education Directorate at Puziga has been instrumental in educating pupils on female genital mutilation. Atinga Janet Ladi is the girls' education officer in the district. She was also aware of the trend of some parents sending their female wards to neighboring countries to get cut.
Sometimes before you realize a girl is not coming to school, and then when you go further to investigate, then they find out that she has gone to the auntie's place. Then before you realize it is true, they have gone to do this FGM. They try to convince them that the clitoris, excuse me to say, that it is having some mucus, that is having some infection. So it's good that you remove it.
We continued our journey to Kankampori around Kulungugu. Here, about 80% of the women in the community have been cut. 67-year-old Adiza has been cutting girls in her community for 20 years. She told me the skill of cutting girls was passed on to her by her mother. She is hopeful her 17-year-old daughter will take up after her.
The mother did that, took care of some of them. But when she too inherited it from the mother, she has also benefited.
As we navigated through the community, 35-year-old Darcy, who has been married for 17 years with 5 children, decided to share his story with us.
She has regretted so much, and that even her enemy will not go through.
Darcy is not the only one. Young girls in Kulungugu like Bisa was cut a year ago. She tells me she still experiences intense pain anytime she wants to attend to nature's call. The experience has traumatized her to date. Just before leaving Kulungugu, we met a 5-year-old whose mother had brought her to be cut. Residents allege some nurses and midwives mock women who have not been cut when they come to the labor ward to deliver. Others said female genital mutilation is now being performed by some midwives and on newborn babies. I followed up to the Kulungugu Health Center. Dominic Mogre is a senior staff midwife at the health center. He explains the effect and impact of female genital mutilation on women and children in the community.
After this, the excision, the place forms a scar, and we know that scars don't stretch. The natural elasticity of the skin is lost. So we are left with virtually something like this to make sure that the head is able to come through it. So it's almost impossible. Most of them, to be safer on our side as midwives, we give what we call episiotomy. We use the scissors to enlarge the place in order to have safe delivery. If this is done to prevent more damage, it can be worse when you don't give the episiotomy.
According to the United Nations, although primarily concentrated in 30 countries in Africa and the Middle East, it is also practiced in some countries in Asia and Latin America and amongst immigrant populations living in Western Europe, North America, Australia, and New Zealand. In some cultures, FGM is regarded as a rite of passage into adulthood and a prerequisite for marriage. Although there are no hygienic advantages or health benefits to FGM, practicing communities believe that the clitoris of a woman needs to be cut, and women who have not undergone FGM are regarded as unhealthy, unclean, or unworthy. In Ghana, it is illegal to practice female genital mutilation. The 1992 Constitution of Ghana, Article 15 states that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolable and that no person shall be subjected to torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. Anyone performing FGM commits an offense and is liable upon conviction to between 5 and 10 years imprisonment or a fine of not more than 500 penalty units, equivalent to 6,000 cedis. Following the 1994 amendment to the law, some successful prosecutions for performing FGM took place. The first was a male practitioner who was sent to prison and served at least 5 years. The strict enforcement of the law in Ghana is what is forcing mothers to travel to neighboring countries such as Togo and Burkina Faso to undergo the procedure. My aim now was to follow up to Burkina Faso through Kulungugu, a border town between Ghana and Burkina Faso. This journey was almost cut short upon advice from the Ghanaian immigration officials. Upon persistence, they decided to escort us to 2 communities along the border, Kanyeri and Sangaburi. Adama Salifu is assemblyman for Kanyeri. He explains practitioners in Burkina Faso don't force indigents to undergo the exercise. They are, however, commissioned by their Ghanaian counterparts for their services.
True. If the Ghana people did a cut here, my daughter, because the law, I don't feel cut. If not that, if like me and Sefa, if the government will agree, I will cut them.
Even though female genital mutilation is illegal in Burkina Faso, Adama strongly defends the reason behind the practice.
The time way they are cutting is good because they get the thing, not the word they get. Because the thing if cheap, if it's starter. If they start they get pants small, it will come out. If they come out, the girl will feel sleep. It will feel dog and mother and father will come out outside. The woman where they are cut, if you marry that one, it's better because the woman it won't worry you. But the one way they are not cut, if you marry that one, maybe the woman in one more way you know one more. It will bring problem for you people. Because if the woman one more 5 times or 6 times way, the man one or 2, it will bring problem. The woman will come out outside. You will see somebody married, but you know they feel sleep in husband. They come out outside. Plenty women.
Oh, they know that. Hey, in a kishi,
Data from the Ghana Statistical Service show the prevalence of female genital mutilation is among women between the ages of 15 and 49, representing 3.8%, though girls usually undergo the process before the age of 5. The regions with the highest prevalence rate are Upper West, 41.1%, and Upper East 27.8%, whilst the regions with the lowest prevalence rate are the Central Region with 0.8% and the Volta region with 0.4%. Despite the evidence gathered on the prevalence of female genital mutilation, the chief of Puziga, Naba Ibrahim Ayuma Aguri, doubts there are indigents in his jurisdiction still practicing it.
He's saying emphatically that it's not true because what they have done to curb that, people between the ages of from 1 to 15 and 16, majority of them are at the JSS level. And they have instructed teachers of such schools to make sure that when they don't see a people for at least 3 days, they should try to find out or report to them to trace to the family to find out where possibly the person might be. Because they believe that if you are circumcised or if you are being circumcised, it will take you more than 3 days before you can be healed and attend school.
Naba Ibrahim's assertions were affirmed by the Queen Mother of the area, Puanab Alas Bugri Aguri. A retired midwife reaffirmed Naba Ibrahim's statement that female genital mutilation is not being practiced in Puziga.
They selected about 10 of them, trained them, and they were those going around educating the people as to the side effects of this circumcision.
The district chief executive for Puziga, Zubeiru Abdullahi, however, says the practice has not been completely eradicated.
I speak to you now, we are on top of our job as compared to what we used to know. Today, FGM in the district is actually going down very drastically. I don't want to stick my neck and say that it has been completely eradicated, but we know from what we are taking on the ground, many people are now getting to understand why they shouldn't do it. But what we also want to put on record is that because of our proximity with the other countries, data sometimes also favor us.
The Boku East Women Development Association is an NGO which has championed a lot of activities to end FGM in the area. Programs manager for the association, Shaibu Abubakar, called on policymakers to relook the approach to fighting the menace.
Those that are willing to come out, we should rather use them as agents of change. I'm talking of the women who have been practicing it. We should use them to become agents or advocates against the practice. And I can assure you that when we do those things, we'll go very, very far. For me, I think that the recent or the ongoing strategy that we have adopted, house to house, engaging the women, engaging the traditional authorities, engaging the children, and coming to holding seminars, at various locations from time to time, using images to let them appreciate the difficulties or the challenges that they pose on the up and coming young girls, will rather come out, because we've been able to identify a number of these practitioners, and they are accepting that it is not a good practice.
Although there is strong commitment by government and its agencies in ending female genital mutilation, more education is needed to ensure the practice is completely eradicated from Ghana. As I left Puziga, I began to ponder on who the next victim of FGM could be if nothing is done to halt the practice. Sarah Paku, TV3 News, Puziga.